Hello and welcome to another special episode of Storyboard. Like last week, we are inside Chennai again this week. What we're going to explore this week is what is happening to the advertising agency business in Chennai. 20 years ago, all the large network agencies were in Chennai, all were vibrant, and they perhaps controlled most of the large billing out of Chennai. What's happened in 20 years when, except for R.K. Swamy BBDO, which is going from strength to strength, most of the large network agencies have shrunk in size. To explore that, I have three unusual guests. The first is not so unusual, Sundar Swamy from R.K. Swamy BBDO. Then I've got Zach from Rubicon with an E, not Rubicon with an I. And I've got Karthik Iyer, who we dragged down from Bangalore, from Happy. And Karthik has come here because he's done a lot of work in Tamil. But I'll start with Sundar. Sundar, A, do you agree with what I'm saying? That's one. And two, if so, what do you think about it? That the large agencies, the network agencies are struggling in Chennai.
No, let me say it more lighter way. Large multinational agencies are always looking to headcount and consistent profit year on year. That is not going to be available in a market like Chennai or Calcutta or whatever. If that is the only reason why they want to be in business, this is not the market to be. And once they have a bad year, somebody triggers a panic button elsewhere in the globe, and the office goes from here.
Right. Zach, do you agree with Sundar's premise on this long-term versus short-term view?
Yeah. I mean, actually, yes, in a way. I've been involved with a couple of, at least 2 or 3 of these agencies that have sprung up and then disappeared,
Like which agency?
There was Grey that came in about a couple of times and then went away. Like Sundar said, you can't actually do a head count or look at a quarter to quarter profit sometimes, and there's a lot of waiting game. You need to be very patient, and and it takes a while before a client actually gets a lot of faith in you. Once they do that, it's a very long-term relationship, and we've actually enjoyed a lot of that kind of relationship for a long time. So we've been here now for more than 25 years. We've run a parallel kind of agency structure. We do a lot of graphic design along with a lot of design along with mainline advertising, and we've survived. It's just that if we've had one bad year, we've not panicked.
Is it survived or is it?
No, we've done well, in fact. And if we had a bad year, which has been on occasions, we've not panicked. Right. We've not dropped people. We've not hired and fired people. And that's really been our model, and that's worked for us.
Karthik, I've been trying to understand this phenomenon, and I say fundamentally it's because the big agencies don't understand Tamil, and they don't have any insights on what is happening in this city. They don't understand the music, the culture, and then therefore they cannot create communication that sells to Tamil Nadu. Do you agree with that?
Well, there are many reasons for this, okay. On the top level, one must understand from an opportunity point of view to retain talent. Especially in the last 5 to 10 years, all the big brands that used to be headquartered out of Chennai, national brands, have moved out of Chennai. Point number one. So from a talent point of view, to be working on a brand that's nationally seen, if you're, especially for a creative person, you may want to move to another city. The second thing is, I think Bengal and Tamil Nadu are the 2 main markets where brands are forced to create communication specifically in that language or with insights that are cultural specific to them. While all brands are aware of this and they say we need to do this also in Tamil or also in Bengali, but finally when it boils down to doing the production, it all gets done in Bombay. So then it all boils down to who is the talent that's being brought for the voice, or the scripts sometimes are universal and then can work, but that's where it kind of falls short. So locally, when someone is listening to a voiceover or something that's being told to them, or the dialogues are being spoken to someone in Tamil that actually left Tamil Nadu like 30 years ago, the accents are kind of odd, the words that are being chosen are odd, the translations are just too textbookish, and I believe that's where it loses the mark and loses the connection.
Right. Zach, I was at your office yesterday and I saw some of the films you made, and we discussed the costs. So we see films made at 35 lakhs and 40 lakhs and so on. It's unheard of. If you go to Bombay, any film is 1 crore. Perhaps the film director will want 50 lakhs, forget about the whole film. And this is, say, Deepam, for example, with 5 talented stars, and you're still under 50 lakhs, is that right? Something?
Yeah, no, that wasn't done by
No,
me.
not you.
Yeah,
Sure. It's a film we saw at your place. That was
Yeah,
Chokka's
yeah,
film.
yeah.
But I'm saying it's still a 40 lakh film or something.
Yes,
Like
yes.
that. So is that sort of constraint why the sort of larger agencies can't do it? They're not mentally prepared to do films at that kind of a price?
Well, I don't know, because we've actually get films that are both in like these so-called low-cost films, and also films where clients are willing to pay that money. So I don't think that's really a constraint. I mean, when the client doesn't have too much of a budget, you work around it to create interesting communication, and you know, the same applies when, you know, the budgets are higher. So I don't think budget is a problem. I mean, we've never had that problem on films.
Right.
But you know, actually writing for a market like Tamil Nadu, or writing for a market like Kerala, you know, to get the nuances, you've got to be in those states.
Right. No,
It's very
It's
difficult.
like your work for Times of India.
Yeah.
So what do you think that you have done in that work that
See,
say Bombay-based agency couldn't do?
Okay, one is because, you know, I've been in the city for a long time. I'm an art guy. I have actually worked with the hoarding artists. I've stood below hoardings and told them how to paint, because I'm a painter myself. But you know, we realize there's a lot of art in Tamil Nadu, or a lot that's only endemic to the state, and we used that in the whole campaign in which we, you know, for Times of India, that really did very well.
Right.
So, you know, whether it's the light art which they do, or the rock painting which they do, that's what we did for them. And that's something you need to, you know, sometimes be there to understand how it's done, you know.
Sundar, of all the people in advertising, I don't think there's a single person who travels more between Chennai and Bombay than you. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a single
Well, I don't, that will be true.
How do you toggle between these two cultures? You know, the cocktail party, single malt culture of advertising in Bombay, and then this laid back Zach kind of culture where you filter coffee?
No, actually, that is you're typifying Chennai. Chennai is not necessarily coffee culture. They also have migrated to the malls of the world. But on a serious note, I think some of the points my friends made are absolutely right. But I want to single out a couple of issues. There are clients in Chennai who are retail in nature, and they need to spend less money because they need to make offers films. They can't spend lots of money making those films. And there are also brands in Chennai who don't mind spending a crore or more on films. So there are clients who are actually spending lots of money. They also but the big clients also spend less money on production because of the need for that kind of activity.
Right.
That apart, I think that talking about talent, we're talking migration of talent. I think there is a chicken or the egg situation. When so many of the clients have moved out, okay, talent has to also move out. But having said that, some of the talent that we have in our office, okay, we do have imported talent. It's not as though that our talent is made up of only Tamils and Chennaiites. We do have talent from across the country, and therefore we are able to provide to our clients in Chennai the local flavor along with so-called all pan-India talent.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the reason why we've been able to talk to big clients, small clients with equal vigor.
Right. We're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, I'm going to start with Karthik and try and figure out what is it that prevents the large agencies from truly understanding what's happening in Chennai. Welcome back, and we're still discussing what the impediments are to network agencies from growing in Chennai. Karthik, you know, you worked in large agencies, the largest agencies you can name, and now you're running your own shop, and it's a different kettle of fish in the sense of your prioritization, your cost, your retention, and your view, short term versus long term. So what is the single biggest difference you see in the south-based agencies and the network agencies?
I don't know, south-based and network is like the right comparison.
Right.
Small and network, or independent and network,
Sure,
or south
sure.
and north maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, instead of casting a stereotypical view, I believe when we work on any campaign, right? So the planners, the strategy team, you try to carve out insights, right? And mostly everyone tries to carve out universal insights that work, at a pan-India level or a human level. But sometimes, especially certain groups, or like Tamil Nadu is a great example where everything is very inherent, right? If you look at Tamil Nadu as a state, they've always wanted to have everything that is in the world in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
Like film is nearly as old as in Tamil Nadu is as old as film in the world. Kappalotiya Tamilan, the guy who went on ships, and so it's inherent in Tamil race to have everything their way, everything that's happening out there in the world to make it happen in Tamil Nadu, right? So for a culture like that, for a group of people like that, somehow these general insights don't work, right? So even when planning teams or strategy teams try to come from outside and do a research and try to find out about behavior and how people behave, they somehow tend to hit a very superficial insight. The insight is not an insight as much as it is a very outside, I would call it. So I mean, I don't want to take examples, but
but can you take an example? Because yesterday and day before I've been here, one of the most stark sort of examples is music. The music I hear in commercials created in Tamil Nadu for Tamil Nadu is completely different from the music I hear anywhere else. So I think it will help if you give us examples.
Well, I in fact, if let's talking about music, I have an issue there. In fact, if you listen to all the music that's being used in radio and all the ads, it's all this I mean, Tamil Nadu, Chennai is the home of A.R. Rahman, who produces the greatest music around the world for all. I mean, music, in languages that he's not even part of, and he's producing such great music. But somehow everyone's got this perception, including the people who do the work from Chennai, that if you put Tapanguttu music is what is going to cut through. Or, which is not the case. I mean, the Tamil audience is very culturally enriched, is extremely exposed. Purely because of, be it the stunts that Rajinikanth pulls off, in a robo, or, the special effects that they see, or even Kolavaridi. I mean, so it's all there. But somehow, when it comes to let's do something that everyone will get, they have some 4 or 5 things. One is Tapanguttu, or they will show idli dosai, or it'll be one. It's all very stereotypical, which I believe even in television in Tamil Nadu, that is being taken forward. They're not pushing the envelope. Somehow it's like this is enough for them, which I personally have a problem with. I'm from Chennai, I'm from Tamil Nadu, and I have had a problem with that all along.
Right. Zach, you're hearing his views on what Tamilians want. Obviously you've been here 25 years running a business. You seem to have an idea what Tamilians want. At least your clients seem to think so. So what is it that they want, which the large agencies or network agencies cannot deliver?
Actually, a lot of clients are kind of homegrown. With that, they have a certain way of doing the business and a certain way of understanding the markets. You've got to get into their skin a little bit to kind of make communication that works for them and for the market. And that is a bit of a long-term process. And they tend to work a lot more with relationships than so that I don't know whether is something that a network agency agrees.
Sorry, I'll go to Sundar in this one. Sundar, just before we started this, you walked in while Gopal Srinivasan and Preeta Reddy and Jayashankar Subramaniam were leaving, and there was an ease of the relationship between you and all 3 of them. How important is that in doing business in Chennai?
Okay, as talking for myself, I never explored my personal relationship for business.
Right.
I may have a dinner with them, whatever, but I will not open my mouth about my company or about any business I need to seek with them. As a matter of fact, we work for TAFE. I have not once met Mallika on TAFE business.
Right.
Okay, any business that we separate our friendship from business, because the moment you get that mixed up, then becomes a problem.
I will provoke you by saying, isn't that very different from how business is done in Bombay? Because I would leverage a relationship and...
No, I think it's a personal style. I will feel awkward to talk to anybody for business. I don't want to ask anybody for favors. If I ask for favors, it is for the industry, not for me. And that's how I'm brought up. It's probably individual style. If I only had leveraged my relationship for my own personal growth or company's growth, maybe it would have been quite different.
Right.
But I'd be loath in doing that because it's not me.
Sure. Zach, the last week when we had a panel discussion with Gopal Srinivasan, Preeta Reddy and Jaishankar Subramaniam, what came through was the integrity of the South Indian, Tamilian businessman is very different from the integrity of the North Indian. It was stereotypical, but they think it's a stock and trade that's very important to all the businessmen from the South. Do you agree with that, which again becomes a differentiator in business?
Well, I don't know about the integrity, whether the North has got a less of an integrity than the South, and
Right.
I'm not in agreement with that.
Sure.
But, there's maybe a little, they don't come out into the open as much as, probably the North does.
Right.
And I think that's the main.
Again, the phrase used there was inward looking.
The inward, I don't know. I'm working with a lot of companies and that's certainly not inward looking.
Right.
And they've got their factories managed by international people. They have audits done by people from around the world. So I don't know whether that's true.
Right.
I don't know whether that's true.
Yeah, Karthik, you and I have discussed this many times over many years. One of the problems is things which are lost in translation. You get communication created for clearly a North Indian audience in terms of casting, music, everything. All that happens is they change the dialogue. What do you call it? Is it lazy advertising? Is it irresponsible? What is it?
It just reminds me of watching Chinese movies dubbed in English. When the person would keep talking and the dialogue and the lips are still moving once the dialogue is over. It's kind of like that. But I don't know, it's strange because it's understandable when certain brands have budgetary constraints, so they have no other go, they need to do this. But brands which have all the money, invested brands that are burning other people's money, they still choose to do a dub. They say it's an experiment. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, obviously, if they find that a state or a group is important, then they need to give it its due. There's no point doing a halfway hogwash. Yeah. So that's my only point.
Sundar, while you're an entrepreneur and homegrown agency, there's a site to you which is international and network. So it's RK Swamy with a BBDO attached to it. So you have the international agencies who will be telling you the same thing. There's no need for multiple cuts. Just do an English and a Hindi and get out of there.
No, actually, I want to take on from what he said, so as I'll come to, maybe it answers both the points.
Right.
It is a fact of life that advertisers want to do maybe a Hindi version and dub it here. And if they can get away with it and save some money, okay, and sales are moving in the right direction, there's good consumer connect, okay, why would they want to recreate that in any other language? I'm saying, I think editors are very smart. They know what they're doing. To think that they're missing out on the audience, I think is prejudging them.
Right.
I think they will know what is working for them. They look at the cash register almost every day, and I think they are actually take basic decisions on that. For example, we supported Rajiv Menon to get into films. We supported Bharat Bala to get into films. We got actually Rahman to be the first, radio commercial, CV commercial producer. Jayendra and Sriram were supported by Mudra in Chennai. So much of these fellows, while they were homegrown here, they went into Bombay and different parts of India and made a serious mark for themselves. As a multinational agency sitting in Chennai, we don't see us very different from either a local agency or multinational agency, because I think culturally we can actually connect with both a Tamil-speaking client on the other side or a SAW multinational client on the other side. We can also give a presentation based on what is expected from each of these audiences, which will connect with them. There's no point talking too much theory to a homegrown advertiser, but at the same time bringing some of those theories in application form, not in theoretical aspect. So I think it's not difficult to navigate both the spectrums, and I think large advertisers outside doing in Chennai, I think it's our own thinking that they probably are not getting it right. I think they're probably getting it right. Maybe one or two will always backfire,
Right.
but more often than not, I think they're getting it right.
Now I'm going to ask all three the same question, starting with you, Zach. With 4G and the digital explosion, the ability to micro-target is going to be greater than ever before. So, in the light of that, do you think it's more important in Chennai to understand Tamil and Tamil insights than ever before.
No, in the sense that, as you said, everybody's carrying a smartphone with them, and my driver, for example, is irritatingly so, but on Facebook all the time. And if you can, micro target them in the language, it's going to be a huge plus point. And a lot of products are sold to specific, sections of targets, in Tamil Nadu, and almost all of them are on the smartphone.
Right. What would you, Sundar?
No, I want to address it slightly differently.
Sure.
We have Bahubali, made in Andhra, but the audience appeal is global.
Right.
It has multilingual. Produced only in one language, but became multilingual. Excellent production values, excellent CG. I think sometimes we're attaching too much importance to language. I think language is something that can be put on. I don't think we need to excessively worry. If you have the basic connect with the consumer, right?
Right.
And if you have 4G coming in, and if you're able to do that in their own specific languages because of smartphone connectivity, so that much better. But it's only a language addition on top of whatever the content there is.
Right. Karthik, you agree with that? That's the last word. We're going to wrap this show.
I'd try to see it slightly more differently. So I think language is just we're just so talking about language because it's Tamil Nadu and because Tamil is the only medium that one can get through. But I think the larger point we're trying to make it is understanding the cultural insights.
Right.
Right. When we say Tamilian culture, it's not about the language that they speak, but about specific behavioral everything, from the way they eat, from the way they dress to everything, right? So it's about the cultural insights. Now with technology coming in, so I'm going to make a point here which I feel strongly about. So what is happening? Technology is bringing everybody on one flat platform, right? What is also doing, it's also making culture one flat thing. Everyone's liking the same kind of things, dressing the same kind of ways. It's somehow being pushed by the forces that kind of define where business is going to follow in the future. So I believe it is going to be extremely critical for brands to be close to these cultural insights, to kind of keep it alive for people while they're moving towards the future, whether it is modern or progress is all one's own perspective. But these cultural points are what is going to drive that emotional connect between brands and consumers. And that is one thing that people should.
Perfect.
May I disagree with him?
Of course. So you get the last word then.
I'll tell you why I want to disagree with them. I think that we are probably thinking that Tamil Nadu's culture is, still somewhere rooted in the past. Today,
No, he hasn't said that. He said it's different.
I'm not saying he said that.
Yeah.
Because you're typifying that coffee culture. Maybe somebody's saying Kanjivaram silks culture, whatever. I'm saying if you look at people on the street, they wear the same salwar kameez.
Totally, yeah.
You don't see many people wearing dhotis and walking around today, unlike maybe a Kerala.
Perhaps
whatever.
that you're strengthening his. He's saying there are people who will say the whole world must have the same culture. Everybody will wear trousers. Everybody will have a Coke because commerce decides those things.
Well, Coke or Pepsi, whatever. You're talking to maybe the agency, so.
Right.
But the point is, it is a fact of life that I think while there is some small differentiation between cultures within India, which is only evident during Pongal and Diwali time, bulk of the time we are actually pan-Indians. And that's why advertisers are able to get away with not doing specific communications for this market. And so it is for Bengal, so it is for AP or Kerala, whatever. Because they cannot, the advantage of the large market available for single communication we lost. Then people talk about, think global, act local, whatever. That nonsense, local, all the nonsense they talked about. But I'm saying, it's a fact of life. We can get away with it. Why not? It saves on communication costs and I can get more out of my money.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Sundar. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Karthik. And let's continue this argument some other time. Thank you.